Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving, and this, as I'm sure you're aware, is my Ford Crown Victoria, the 2002 Police Interceptor from Ohio, you know, over in the Rust Belt of America. And to prove it's from the Rust Belt, it's got genuine American rust. Now today, hopefully we're going to start getting some welding on, having seen how this side of the car isn't anywhere near as bad as the other side of the car in the last video. However, we've probably got about an hour before the heavens open again. I was meant to be welding this thing yesterday, but it was basically torrential rain all day. And it was pretty miserable the day before as well. So not going terribly well. So hopefully I've got enough used cereal boxes indoors to make enough cardboard aided design templates to get this thing sorted out, and maybe we can get a bit done before the rain starts. Okay, quickly stepping inside the car for a moment and using my patented door ajar system, because with the car on the slope, the slightly weak door, what do you call it, the retention strap doodah thing isn't quite strong enough to hold the door open on an angle. I'm not taking the interior out on the driver's side like I did on the passenger side, because I don't think, well, I know I'm not going to be doing quite as much welding as previously, so I'm not quite so concerned about heat build-up and proximity of the rubber flooring and the seats and everything as I was on the other side. So that's a big time saving just there. And also I'm not taking the wing off, because although it made it a little bit easier, I think the trade-off for the difficulty of popping the wing off and on, which was a bit of a ball ache, I'm going to leave that on and do that in situ this time, unless I get stuck with access for the welding torch. So what I've got to do first of all is get underneath here. Now I've painted it red, I can see I've made a slightly goofy mess of that. So what I need to be doing here is first of all cutting this back plate out. I did a weird slightly goofy shape here because the soft rusty bits extended further up than I thought they would do, and it's quite hard to get the grinder in there, and also possibly quite hard to get the blade in, quite hard to get the welding tip in as well. I have red oxided it just to get the rust off while I'm waiting for the rain to stop. I will grind it back off before I do any actual welding. Then once I've got that rear flat plate in, then I can do this layer here, which is basically tank grade steel, quite a large amount of it. It needs to be bent into this ridiculous shape. Then once that's done, I can pull back and I can make this lower section of the front wing, which was never here as far as real metal is concerned. And then I'll move back and do the other little spots down the length, 3 patches, which I'm going to have to, well, cut and grind, and then that rear thing. So potentially a day's work if you're any good, and rapid at this, about a week and a half at the rate that I do things. So let's stop procrastinating and have a cup of tea. The most important thing on any job is, of course, the fresh cup of tea. Motivated by a fresh Brownian motion, let's activate cardboard aided design again. The old wibble the cardboard up inside there, draw your shape and transfer it to a big lump of metal to cut it out. It's basic, it's crude, but it's all we got. So I need that shape on a chunk of quite sturdy steel. Huzzah! So we've got a nice straight edge from this previous cut just here. Cut around the edge and you're better off, I always say. I don't say, I always do. Put your line around the outside and cut around the outside edge of that line, because then you've got a bit of extra material in case you need it, because if you cut it too small, you've messed up and you're doing it all again. So that hopefully will sort us out. The camera caught away from the grinder because I managed to get some grinding marks on the lens and ruined my, well, it's a cheap lens, but you know, still ruined. I had this all dialed in absolutely perfectly last time I did this, and I've forgotten what setting I had it on previously. I'm going to have to do a quick practice on the scrap metal. That's too high. That looks better. 21, let's give 21 a go. Yeah, that's more like it. I think we'll go about there. Okay, ready for the first welds on this side of the car. Here we go. Set a few tacks around it to hold it in place first of all. Now I'm going to take the clamp off after I've got a few tacks in. Cool.
The mask has completely messed it up. I've no idea what I'm welding anymore.
And we're on hold again. Right, rain stopped, so I can get back to blue petering bits of cardboard. Okie doke, that is random shape number 2 that I need to now quickly craft out of this thick old sheet of metal and make it be part of the car. That, by the way, is quite curvy. It goes curvy down like that and round like that. Oh, it's just all over the place. That's going to be a right laugh to make it the right shape. Well, the sun is kind of out. It's not raining, which means I've got about 15 minutes before the next storm comes. So I'm going to head back to trying to fettle this thing into the right shape to squeeze it into the bottom of down here. This is actually quite a complicated little shape, it turns out, because I've got a curve at the end, I've got a drop down curve there, and well, it's all over the place. It gets wider towards the middle of the car here, and it's not straight along the outside edge either. So it's just all over the place, frankly. And I've made it too wide at the front. By the way, if you're doing picnics and summertime outdoor stuff this summer, don't forget to head to furiousdriving.co.uk because it's fantastic. Hippo the Freelander goes camping enamel tin mugs, which are rather nice. Lightweight for shoving in a bag and also made of metal so they don't break. Well, that's good enough for something that's going to be, well, hidden by the outer wing and the plastic cover. Let's zap that in and get it done. Right, okay, that is now welded on and I've had a little bit of a grind up around here. This front edge is really quite tidy. That's a little bit less tidy, but it is very, very solid. So now I'll just load it up with red oxide anti-rust primer. Also, I'll squirt some onto the inside of that as well as a hole further down so I can inject a bunch of anti-rust stuff in there. People were wondering about how I was getting rid of all the rust from inside here. This is called Metal Ready. It comes from Pour 15. It's basically a really thin liquid. You just load the sill up with it and it gets everywhere. It gets in between all the layers of metal that are welded together because it's such a fine liquid. It is running out the bottom of the car as we speak. This will just be the outer skin that needs replacing. The inner sill, inner panel is still solid, so I've just prepared a little oblong patch which I've zinc coated for the inside. Second one though did need cutting through. I actually hammered it a bit with a screwdriver and battered it, so I need this shape to go for the inner panel, then I'll need an outer shape to go on the outer panel. A little bit more cleaning up and things to do, I think, before that goes on there. I do also need to be popping down and buying some more cutting discs because that is the last one. There's not much left of it. Okay, the what do you call it, zinc painty stuff has dried. I've been down the shops and got some more cutting discs, got to run out. Make this magically become part of the car. That had slipped, wasn't in the right place. I had to tear it out again, so I need to start that bit all over again. Well, good news. That little small patch section I thought I had to put in, turns out it's actually quite a large patch section. The rust on the inner panel of metal was more extensive than the rust on the outer metal, so just went at cutting and cutting and cutting. Even though I thought I'd cut it back, gave it a quick grind, and you know, there's always more. This is how rust works. There is always, and I mean always more. Well, I finished last night and I'd run out of gas, and so the last bits of welding weren't that pretty. This morning I came out and ground those back to have another crack at them this morning, and then after a few minutes of just a bit of grinding, well, guess what? It's raining again. This is why this job is taking an absolute age. It's May, for crying out loud. It's virtually June, the middle of, well, coming up to summertime, basically, and yet I'm still being chased off by rain. This is very frustrating. I'm going to go do some stuff on the Black Rover instead. Oh, come on! It's day 97 and Matt is slowly losing the will to live. Right, it's another virtually sunny day and I'm back out here wishing I was literally anywhere else doing literally anything but this. But yes, it's not raining, so we're back out here again. Although the weather forecast last night was quite interesting because it said get ready for a change in the weather because it's going to start turning wet and cold. And I thought, I'm sorry, it's going to turn wet and cold? Do I need to build a boat at this point? Can it get any wetter or colder? But apparently this is going to be the good day, so I'm going to crack on with this. And I know this is a weird thing to say halfway through a video, but if you're wondering why there hasn't been a great deal of content the last couple of weeks, it's because every time I come out and try and do some video content to create content, I get a little bit done, then it rains. And so I'll keep just starting and then not finishing anything, which is frustrating to say the least. So yeah, let's crack on, let's quit chitter-chatting, and hopefully I can find some gas in the car and just get some welding done. Oh, I want to go home. Oh wait, I am home. I want to go to someone else's home. But there's no welding to do. Now the trick with this bit here, because I'm trying to put it on the inside of the panel, it's really hard to manoeuvre it. So I've drilled a hole, put a wood screw into it, and just hold it in place with the mole grips, or vice grips if you're in America. That means I can just kind of manoeuvre it into the right place. This one doesn't have to be pretty, it's going to be on the inside of the sill. Right, that's now shaped to perfection. I'm letting some zinc paint dry on the back of that. While that's drying, I'm going to start shaping up this last little bit. So all I need is this one flat panel across the bottom here, and an upright just there, well, maybe even just one bent piece possibly. This is finally it. This is finally the end of the structural welding on the car. And this does seem to have taken a very long time, but that's partly partly the weather, which has been a real pain in the hole. And because this is double skinned and really, really thick steel, everything takes twice as long. So you've got to do each little plate twice. If you've welded a European car for an MOT fix ever, it's relatively quick. You just cut out your hole and then you just whack in a new bit of steel on a fairly low power on the welder and boff, you're done. This thing, you're on a really high setting on the welder for one thing. You've got to grind through really heavy duty metal, hold it in place, and it's generally too heavy for the magnets, and then you've got to do it twice because it's double skinned. So yeah, that's all good fun, but we're nearly there now, thank goodness. Right, after several minutes, quite a lot of minutes of cutting, shaping, yada yada yada, that is the last serious chunk of steel going into the chassis. This will go in just a moment. Got it marked up front and rear so I don't get that confused. Then a job for tomorrow will be create that little shape just there, because I couldn't make this all into one folded panel because that's just a bit too much of what I was doing. Anyway, right, let's get this done now. Well, there we go. At this point, I'm going to call it done for the day. We've now got a solid bit of metal here back at the end of this this sill. It needs a bit of grinding and needs a little bit more touching up with the welder just to make it perfect, and it also needs that little top bit I mentioned being put back in there, but it's kind of getting to the point in the day where I think it's probably a bit rude and antisocial to be grinding and cutting metal around here at home of an evening. So I'm going to call it a day for tonight, call it a wrap on this video, which has taken about 3 weeks to film, which is ridiculous for the amount of work I've actually done. But hey, also got through a ridiculous amount of gas, not only because I'm welding out here, but also I think this cheap Amazon regulator seems to be letting gas blow out quite rapidly even when I'm not using it, so might have to invest in yet another regulator because they seem to break quite quickly. Well, the cheap ones do anyway. Maybe I should go and buy a good one. That might be the thing to do. Who knew? Next episode on this car, we'll be doing a bit of paint on this thing, sorting out that front wing, and well, just going through it, making sure it's ready for the next MOT, and then finding out whatever else we can do to it. I'm sure there's going to be more. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, head over to furiousdriving.co.uk, grab yourself one of the many fun mugs, including Spirito de Punto, 30 years of the Punto and the Alfa 145. Hit the Amazon affiliate link in the description below. Or, of course, if you need to get your car looking a bit shinier than this does, check out diamondbright.co.uk. Again, discount code in the link below, because we're still very grateful to Diamond Bright for continuing to support the channel. Right, I need another cup of tea, I think. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.